So friends, it's finally here. Dark Aether was finally added into Warzone with Season 5 Reloaded. So today we're going to take a comprehensive look and give you some tips on how you can best unlock this in the most time-efficient way as possible. And now for a lot of people like me and maybe like you may have had this already done for a while. And if that's the case, jump in and enjoy it. But for those that still need to unlock it and have some work to do, I wanted to help curate some tips on how you can shave off as much time on the grind as you possibly can and what helped me out greatly on my own grind. So that said, as we go along, let me know your thoughts down below. Are you guys grinding out Dark Aether for yourself? Do any of these tips help you out? Whatever the case may be, feel free to let me know your thoughts down below. But as well, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like down below. Let's aim for 1,000 likes here on this video. And of course, if you are new to the channel and want to stay up to date with all things Warzone, Vanguard, and anything COD related, make sure you hit that subscribe button. With 60% of viewers not subscribed, if you're interested in any of that, make sure you hit that subscribe button and stay in tune. But said, let's jump right into the tips because there's a lot to talk about. Now, introduced with Season 5 Reloaded, we do have new tabs for customization on Black Ops Cold War's weaponry. Those tabs being for multiplayer and zombies, and you can navigate them with the bumpers of your controller. But if you go and take a look at those challenges that you'd normally see within Warzone that you can unlock, you'll see that the unlock criteria unfortunately says challenge progress not available in Warzone. So you're gonna need to go over to Black Ops Cold War to complete this. And right up front, as with literally every other Mastery Camo challenge grind, this is gonna be a bit of a time stealer. You're gonna have to put time in. There's no real way around it. However, there are efficient ways that I've found that really do help out greatly in taking as little time as possible to complete that. And a lot of that comes down to strategy and time management, the efficiency with all of that. And for a lot of the people who played zombies, loved it. This is normal stuff, but for anyone jumping in for the grind for the first time or picking it up now that it's worth getting it not only in just Cold War, this is the guide for you. So breaking it down, let's start out with the categories here. Unlike Modern Warfare's challenges, they're a bit more uniform as primaries only have 55 weapon levels, secondaries have 35. Unlocks correspond with every 5 to 10 levels depending on the weapon class, but truthfully, the majority of the grind is just about getting every weapon ranked up fully. And by now, almost 9 months after the integration with Black Ops Cold War and Warzone, and even longer since the game came out and the ability to rank up weapons began, you probably have had ample amount of time to do that. So from there, it's kind of an easy breeze. Firstly, you have your base camos, the grunge camos, that's just getting your basic kills. Liquid at level 5 is basic critical kills, which is your headshots. Brushstroke at level 10 is pack-a-punch kills. Vintage at level 20 is your special or elite enemies you have to take down. Fauna unlocked at weapon level 30 is 10 kills rapidly. Topography at level 40 is 3 or more critical kills rapidly. And infection at level 50 is 20 or more consecutive kills without taking damage. Of course, again, if we're talking about secondaries, that scales a little bit differently. You're not going to have that 10 weapon level interval between that. But when we talk about weapon levels, this is where the first tip can come into play if you're not entirely ranked up here with this. Depending on how many XP tokens you have, you can actually end up get weapons gold before they're even max rank. Usually the baseline that I've found for unlocking weapon gold, or rather Golden Viper in Cold War Zombies, I found that it would take about 2 matches of grinding per weapon to go around round 31 and 36 and then exfil while grinding out a singular weapon. It doesn't really matter which one you do first. Round 31 has an exfil and so does round 36, so that you're not missing out on critical XP that you can end up getting. And then also, it's kind of just a good benchmark for when you can tap out. I always did round 36 first, just so I was kind of over the hump, if you will, going into the second match, and it felt like less of a task ahead of me. This naturally, though, should give you enough time to train zombies, get your base kills done, those first challenges, your critical kills, which truthfully, using my method, or what I found was actually just the biggest barrier of unlock, I'd finish every single challenge before these two, normally critical kills usually being the last, and then pack-a-punch kills being finished relatively right after the regular kills, since usually we'll get that packed at an early round. But one thing that you may not consider, again, coming back to that sort of approach in terms of weapon leveling, is knocking all the challenges out by the time you even finish your critical kills. So you can do that same thing, but essentially unlock gold before your weapon's fully ranked up to level 55. I think that for about half of my weapons here, I unlocked gold at like level 53 or 54, which may seem odd, but setting up your choice of weapon, I'd rank up every weapon just a little under level 50. For this, primaries, I'd go to like roughly 40 to 45, and from there, depending on the amount of XP tokens that came into play, you can go lower if you do have a double XP token active for weapon XP, but usually I'll start around that 45 for primaries. You may reach 50 in your first match here to 36, but oftentimes I'd find that happening in the second match going to round 31, but you cross that level 50 and then it unlocks that final set of challenges. So while you're plugging away to all these challenges like your rapid kills, elites, or special enemies, one of the absolute easiest challenges you have is saved until the last, and you can unlock it mid-game and oftentimes complete it well before you finish the match at hand. 20 20 kills without taking damage is simply a matter of getting a train together in higher rounds. You can do like 2 or 3 of these per single train, then line them up and do it all over again. You're done rather quickly with that one. So the same concept applies with secondaries here and specials as well. We were kind of just grinding out, again, those base kills, critical kills, pack-a-punch kills, elite kills, rapid kills, and things like that, where you're doing all of those while continuing to rank up your weapons so you can end up doing it all in one fell swoop. But instead of rank 40 to 45 for your weapon level, I'd usually start those about level 25, since the final barrier for an infection challenge is level 30. So by not ranking up your weapons fully and allowing yourself to knock out challenges as you go along, as ranking it up in match, you save yourself a handful of hours right off the bat in total. And by doing that, by unlocking things as you go along, and with the ease of a lot of these challenges here and how quickly you can do it, you can end up unlocking 20 to 30 camos in a single given game by the end even, which is kind of crazy to consider, but it happens quite a lot with this method. Now, when you get into in-game tips here, this is where it starts to become pretty specific for a game plan. If you want to get through the grind as soon as you possibly can, focus solely on the weapon you're going to be using. Don't be wishy-washy with it at all. Don't be somebody that has 2 weapons and you're like, okay, I'll do some kills here with this and do some kills with the other weapon in my back pocket. Focus solely on doing everything with that weapon that you have at hand. We'll talk about it in a second. The only thing that I can really say is a good exception here of this is something like the elite kills, where you'll often finish that well before you are finished with all the other challenges, and by that point, you're still going to see other elites. So if you do have a weapon in your back pocket that still needs to have some progress made for the elites or special zombies, that's when you can pull that out so that you're not necessarily wasting time using the same weapon that's already completed. One thing that I got really lucky with 2 games in a row, and is actually still the only time that I've had it happen, of getting this weapon at all, I ended up getting the ray gun out of the mystery box whenever I was going for a couple of different weapons. I forget exactly off the top of my head what they were, but I had completed all the elite challenges, so I could actually just pack-a-punch the ray gun and then knock out the elites within like 10 rounds of the ray gun ammo. So it was something that absolutely allowed me to breeze through and focus solely on those other challenges. When we talk about having a game plan, that starts with what map you want to play on. And full disclaimer, I've been sitting on this video for a while, and all these tips as well, about 6 months or so now at this point. I completed this back in March, I believe. But with Dark Aether just not coming up until this point, we just kind of sat on this. But when it comes down to it, my experience revolved around Die Maschine and Firebase C. Mauer or Tote and I unfortunately haven't had a ton of experience unlocking or grinding weapons on, but I'd wager the base of it, what we're discussing here at this, is still intact for the majority of tips. For me, I found the launch map, Die Maschine, to be the most efficient and most convenient for the majority of challenges speedrunning it, but it's not the only option. Die Maschine has a lot of great areas that you can train and just simply breeze through enemies real quickly, but with the introduction of Firebase Z, one of the most annoying challenges we had at the time was changed, making the elite kills not only just elites, but also including special zombies. So that means your things like your mimics and your manglers count as well. This is where I'd focus on Firebase Z back in the day. Firebase Z, mimic, and mangler spawn rates are honestly kind of annoying to me by comparison to Die Maschine, but for grinding, it's phenomenal because I'm not kidding you, you can get all 15 done before round 20. All of your elite challenges before round 20 of a single match. So for this, it was kind of complicated, or rather made the grind a little more annoying or productive depending on how you wanted to spin it. If you could find another weapon, a secondary to your main where you were grinding that needed elites, it would be great because you could just have that in your back pocket while you grind out, say, your critical kills, your pack-a-punch kills, whatever, and then when elites came, you could end up just popping into a different weapon and progressing that at the same time, instead of kind of wasting time on it. But if you got to the end where most of these were done on most weapons, then it just kind of became annoying, especially after you completed that round 20 and knocking out all of those special zombies, because you'd have to deal with an absurd amount of those spawning for the next 10 to 15 rounds, depending on if you completed the 31 or 36 cycle. Personally though, out of that rotation, I'd start on Firebase C, get myself done, and I would actually switch over to starting at round 31 and ending there, as opposed to starting with 36. Then I'd jump over to Die Maschine to finish off the more grindy ones here at that. Again, those critical kills, those rapid kills, and things like that. For Die Maschine though, I did have a rather straightforward strategy: spawn in, save up cash until round 6 to 8, unlock the power, and then pack a punch by opening doors and getting the machine part through the Dark Aether, then come back while all on one spare zombie, then with whatever weapon you have, shoot the blue orbs to activate the dancing coffin Easter egg and get your free jug, and if applicable, pack a punch for the first time. And at that point, you really just have the ability to rank up your weapon tier as well via traditional salvage. Once all of that is done, you're set to start grinding zombies kills with a packed, upgraded tier weapon while having a free jug as well. And that's a great setup to any match. Personally, I didn't prioritize armor until I rank up my weapons, but the nice part is traditional salvage is easy to find and only is necessary for the first weapon upgrade, so you can at least get a base armor as well easily. From here, I'd grind out in-game more points via kills, and all while going for challenges that are the basics like kills, criticals, pack-a-punch kills, rapid kills, you name it. And then when I got enough to pack-a-punch for the second and third times, after I max packed, that's when I'd shift focus to perks and other utility like armor and any streaks if I wanted them. Where for perks, I'd usually get stamina, sleight of hand, and the fourth is kind of optional, to be honest with you. If I'm looking at it now, it'd probably be Deadshot to increase headshot efficiency, but things like the new perk of Death Perception, which will afford you more high-grade salvage from drops, that'll be definitely something that can help in upgrading your tiers. But if you go above 4 perks here at this, then if you go down, you start to lose random perks. It doesn't go in the order in which you ended up purchasing them. So that was my sort of reasoning for staying around 4 and not maxing out, but of course you absolutely can. From there, it's just kind of building up free cash. But then all it comes down to is just grinding weapons until I get enough of those high grade salvage, finish off ranking up my weapon skill tiers, and then boom, we're grinding a level 31 or 36 to exfil. But that's my sort of game plan and game strategy here for it when I was going through, and I felt that that helped out tremendously in expediting the process of being able to do all this stuff. Rank up and complete your weapon challenges all at once, get 20 to 25 to 30 weapon challenges done in a single game, then go back and forth between maps so that you can end up getting some things more than just say singular elite kills whenever those come around every 5 to 6 rounds, and make sure that you game it out so you can get things like free Juggernog as always, take some perks that help you out like Deadshot, Daiquiri, and things like that. Now, of course, there are other tips here that have helped, but are more situational. One thing that was a really big help at the very beginning when Cold War initially launched was that you could AFK players to increase that productivity, or at the very least play with friends. More players that play in a match, the more zombies that will spawn. So theoretically you should be getting more here with that, but it depends on who's in what area of the map, how the spawns are like. So you could end up getting the short end of the stick and not getting as many zombie spawns as say your friends across the map. But if you end up say having AFK players, well, then they'd go down and then every single zombie spawn, that upped number of them would come to you. So it really does help out in that case, but again, might not be for everybody. Free Juggernog, again, always a great help here within all the maps that offer it. The field upgrade selection, personally, I went back and forth between Aether Shroud and Ring of Fire. Ring of Fire, of course, gives you more damage and as well pulls ammo from your reserve, so it helps out if you want to take out a large horde without having to reload, or helps with those pesky elites on Die Maschine. But also, Aether Shroud was one of those things that was kind of a backup if I got in a bind, if I got caught on something that I couldn't get out of. I could just teleport away, recover, and regain and jump back into it. One thing that I will say in terms of weapon upgrades is I wouldn't recommend ammo mods, especially if you're looking to rank up the weapon while going along and doing challenges, since ammo mods decrease the amount of XP yielded by comparison to the base weapon, even when pack-a-punched. So that's something that you may want to avoid as well. But that said, that's kind of everything I got here in terms of what helped me on my grind to Dark Aether, and hopefully can help you out as well. So one final time, again, best ways that I can say to go through this is to rank up your weapons as you go along, complete those challenges, those ones that are really just grindy and monotonous, like your regular kills, your critical or headshot kills, your pack-a-punch kills, and things like that. And the other ones like your elites, your rapid kills, your kills without taking damage, those will come naturally. And so you can absolutely take this all out within like 65 rounds of zombies experience at a time. Should only take you a couple of hours here to grind out each weapon camo. But that said, that is where we're going to wrap it up. Hopefully this helped you out in some way, shape, or form. Let me know your thoughts down below. Are you guys going to be going for Dark Aether now that it is within Warzone, or do you not necessarily care too much? Whatever it is, let me know your thoughts down below, but hopefully enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to drop a like down below, and of course, if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things Warzone, Vanguard, and anything COD related. We got you covered here on the channel. So if you're interested in any of that, hit that subscribe button. If you also want to follow me over on Twitter and Instagram, those are the best places to get gang outside of YouTube. Practically live on both those. So if you want to strike up a conversation, ask me a question, whatever the case may be, that link is down there in the description below. But I said, thanks so much for watching. My name is Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care and peace.